Today, 22nd June, Archangel Michael orders, someone close to you is secretly holding a piece of your fate. Open this to uncover the truth. Today is not just another date on the calendar. Today is June 22nd, and it stands as a line drawn by divine authority in the sands of time. This is not coincidence. This is not routine. This is a day of reckoning, chosen not by human will, but by heaven's decree. There are days when time seems to whisper, but this day shouts. It calls you by name, and it arrives cloaked in revelation. It is no accident that these words have found you now. Archangel Michael's voice is not late. He is never early. He speaks in perfect timing, and today, his message arrives exactly on time. For in the unseen realm, a spiritual contract hath been breached. A hidden agreement, once intact, has been broken in secret, and it wasn't you who broke it. Something sacred was tampered with in the shadows. A line crossed in silence. You felt it before you saw it. You sensed something shift, and though the physical world carried on, your spirit knew. It knew that something no longer aligned. And now, the Archangel of divine war, Michael, speaks with the full authority of heaven to bring that truth to light. This message is not for all. It is not a broadcasting of words thrown to the wind. No, this message hath been soul-selected. It is precise. It is Dargian. Heaven has scanned the hearts of many and found you. Your name, your journey, your spiritual address. This revelation does not fall to the ground. It pierces. It enters. It awakens. And if you are here, reading this now, it is because you are one of the few chosen to hear it. Not everyone is meant to carry the weight of revelation. But your fate was never fully yours. Not yet. Not until today. There has always been a missing piece. An unseen hand influencing what moved toward you or what stayed just out of reach. Someone close to you, yes, someone within arm's length, holds a piece of your future. A thread, small but powerful, tied to doors that should have opened, to battles that seemed too hard, to emotions you could never explain. And while they may not even realize the full magnitude of what they carry, heaven has watched in silence. You may have ignored the signs. You may have tried to move forward despite the weight in the air. But the divine now speaks plainly. Someone near you has been holding something that belongs to your destiny. And now, that silence is being shattered. But to receive this, you must be still. You must be quiet. You must make room in the spirit. The truth does not enter a noisy heart. Still yourself. Settle your thoughts. Let your spirit rise above the noise of the world, above the routines and the daily distractions. Open yourself, not just in body, but in soul, for this is not an ordinary word. This is an uncovering, a lifting of the veil, a glimpse behind the spiritual curtain. You are being summoned into divine clarity. Do not resist it. Do not explain it away. Let the truth of this moment press upon you with holy weight. Because today, this very 22nd day of June, is sacred. It is not a day to overlook. It is not just another point on your calendar. It has been marked in the heavenly scrolls. It has been whispered by angels. It has been counted down in the spirit realm. You are here for a reason. This word has come for a reason. And what has been concealed, for days, for months, even for years, is about to be revealed. Let the fear fall off of you. Let the denial die. Let the spirit of truth rise and break through the fog that has covered your path. Heaven is about to make it plain. And once seen, you cannot unsee. Once known, you cannot unknow. Today begins the unraveling. Today, the veil begins to lift, and you will see what was hidden in plain sight. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. The atmosphere is shifting even now. Can you feel it? Before the next sunrise casts its first light across the earth, your spirit will have received a divine confrontation. Archangel Michael interrupts this very hour with an urgency that cannot be ignored. It is not your imagination. It is not just coincidence. It is not just another day. It is a spiritual interception, a divine appointment etched before time began. Heaven has ordered a holy pause on your routine, and now you are being summoned to attention. For there is a storm gathering around your name, the reckoning brewing in silence. Something has gone unseen too long, but heaven has seen it. Angels have circled it. The Spirit of the living God has documented every word, every whisper, every shadowed intention, and now Archangel Michael has been dispatched by divine command to stand in the gap, to reveal, to warn, to shield, to announce. And this message, this word, this holy utterance, it is not for everyone. I know many will scroll, many will laugh, many will remain asleep. But you are marked to receive it. You are not here by accident. This moment has been calculated. The angelic realm has tracked your battles, watched your endurance, and now, at the threshold of a coming shift, this word is being placed directly in your hands. Feel the weight of it. This is not man-made. This is heaven-sent. The divine war cry of Archangel Michael does not enter lightly. It arrives only when it must. And right now, it must. There has been a breach, a hidden transaction, a thread of your future woven into the hands of another, someone so close you would have never suspected. Someone who smiles, who speaks kindly, who walks with you, and yet harbors a spiritual leverage they were never meant to hold. You've been sensing it. You've seen it in their eyes, in their hesitation, in their change of tone. You've heard it in the silence that follows when you speak about your vision, your growth, your future. Something has shifted, not just in them, but around you. And this is not just emotional tension. This is not ordinary drama. This is spiritual warfare disguised as familiarity. Michael declares, your soul is being rescued from silent manipulation. What you thought was just discomfort was spiritual surveillance. What you labeled as bad timing or delayed dreams was something deeper. Someone holding a key to your next level. Someone restricting your gates with silent hands. Heaven has waited to speak, but no longer. It is time. It is time for the exposure. Time for the truth to collide with your discernment. Time for what was hidden to be brought into the light. And this is your invitation, not to panic, not to fear, but to stand boldly in spiritual awareness. Because the angels have not just watched this moment approach, they have prepared for it. Pause now. Stop what you are doing. Breathe. Let your soul feel the divine charge in the air. You are standing at the edge of a breakthrough, and this message is the bridge between your confusion and your clarity. Can you feel it yet? The shiver up your spine, the stirring in your gut, the awareness that something is different this time. That's not emotion. That's spiritual contact. This message reaches into your spirit to rescue what was at risk of being lost. You have been under surveillance, but not just from flesh and blood. There are powers, ancient and subtle, that have tried to delay your steps, confuse your mind, and scatter your faith. And they did not work alone. I used the hands of someone near. And the truth is this: you never would have believed it unless heaven pulled back the veil. So now, Michael speaks. Watch. Discern. Listen. But do not fear. What they meant for delay, heaven will use as direction. This is not about attacking them. This is about rescuing you. You are not being led into drama. You are being pulled out of entanglement. This is your liberation, not by conflict, but by clarity. You don't need to fight this in the natural. You only need to posture your heart in obedience. Open. Still. Listening. For heaven has not called you to chaos. Heaven has called you to revelation. And what will be shown to you in the next few days, yes, even before the next sunrise, will make sense of things that never did. It will validate the unease that's been haunting you. It will confirm that your intuition wasn't paranoid, it was preparation. You will not walk into the next season blind. Not anymore. Michael has drawn his sword. The hosts of heaven have turned their eyes. Your name is echoing through realms. And the moment you accept that this message is for you, not just someone else, the gears of divine reversal begin to turn. This is your moment to step into spiritual clarity. Let no pride, no doubt, no fear stand in the way. Let your soul open. Let your ears hear. Let your heart posture itself as one ready to receive. Because everything changes when heaven speaks, and heaven is speaking now. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. They've been acting strange, haven't they? You've seen it, felt it, heard it, not with your ears but with the echo of your spirit. Their tone is different. Their presence is off. Their words, once comforting, once warm, now land cold and calculated. It's subtle, yet undeniable. They smile but their eyes don't match. They ask questions but their interest feels rehearsed. They stay close, but something in you knows they are holding back. Something is missing. And you're not crazy for noticing. This isn't suspicion. This isn't fear. This is the divine gift of discernment sharpening in your soul. You see, heaven has allowed you to feel what your spirit already knew. The shift didn't start yesterday. It began long ago, quietly, silently, like a shadow stretching across the floor at sunset. But now, that shadow is reaching your feet, and heaven refuses to let it go any further. Archangel Michael speaks. There is something they are not telling you, something they carry in silence, a piece of your fate, withheld in secret. This is not simply emotional distance. This is spiritual interference. There is something vital, a decision, a truth, a conversation, a moment that they've hidden. Not out of forgetfulness, but out of intention. Perhaps out of fear. Perhaps out of envy. Perhaps out of something darker. But the result is the same. You've been delayed by something they refuse to say. The emotional weight you've carried lately, the unexplained anxiety, the sudden sadness, the cloud over your confidence, all of it ties back to this hidden piece. You've been doing all the right things. Praying, working, trying, yet still you feel blocked. You take steps forward, but the ground crumbles beneath you. You make progress, but it slips through your fingers. And you ask yourself, why? Why? If I'm doing right, do I feel like something is wrong? Because something is wrong. Not with you, but with the atmosphere around you. Someone close, someone in your inner circle, someone who smiles with you and sits with you, is carrying a silence that is costing you clarity. And what they hold isn't just a secret. It's a thread connected to your next level. And every time they choose to withhold it, it ties tighter around your spiritual movement. Michael declares, what you've called confusion, heaven calls containment. They have tried to contain you in spiritual delay by keeping quiet about what matters most. Whether out of control, shame, fear, or even subtle manipulation, they have blocked the river of revelation flowing toward your life. And yet, listen carefully, they do not have the final say. But to confront this, you must first confront what's happening within you. Because your spirit is not wrong. Your unease is not misplaced. You've likely second-guessed yourself. You've brushed it off. You've tried to silence the inner voice saying, something is off. But today, heaven says, you were right. Your restlessness had been prophetic. Your discomfort was divine alert. Your suspicion, though painful, was spiritual confirmation. You are not being paranoid. You are being prepared. Michael has come to break the emotional manipulation, to sap the cord of false peace, to release you from the invisible agreements that have been made over your future without your consent. He says what they know and are hiding was meant to shape your direction. A choice they made, a door they closed, a truth they buried. And now, as they sit silently, pretending nothing has shifted, you are left carrying the weight of a future that can't unfold until this veil is lifted. And it will be. Heaven is not silent anymore. The sword is drawn. The angels are circling. The air around you is ripe with confrontation, not in the natural, but in the spirit. And once this is exposed, nothing will remain the same. So do not ignore this moment. Do not downplay it, because what you sense is real, and what is hidden is ready to be revealed. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way and continue to speak truth and clarity into souls just like yours. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. If you want to stay aligned with heaven's timings and receive exclusive updates, teachings, and prophetic insights, subscribe to the channel now. Don't miss what heaven says next, because what comes next will change everything. Type I am chosen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 777 has now been activated over your life. It wasn't just a betrayal. It wasn't just confusion, awkward silence, or miscommunication. It wasn't just the discomfort of someone you trusted subtly turning cold. No, it was a spiritual strike, cloaked in the ordinary. What happened wasn't personal alone. It was prophetic in nature. Because when you carry a mantle, when you're marked, when heaven has set your name apart for divine alignment, opposition doesn't arrive as a storm. It creeps in like a whisper through people, patterns, and proximity. Archangel Michael reveals, your destiny stirred jealousy in someone you loved. And this is not just a poetic line. This is a spiritual diagnosis. Because sometimes, the warfare against your life does not come through strangers or enemies. It comes through familiar faces who cannot bear the brilliance of your becoming. They once celebrated you when you were low. They clapped when you struggled. But as you began to rise, as your spirit grew stronger, as your vision sharpened, they began to shift. Not out of cruelty, but out of spiritual discomfort. They could not handle the oil on your life. And though they smiled, deep inside, their spirit began to wrestle with yours. What they could not articulate in words, they expressed in avoidance. What they couldn't sabotage with actions, they tried to silence through absence. And so, slowly, they began to pull away, but not completely. They stayed near enough to observe, to measure, to monitor, but not near enough to edify, to intercede, to align. And heaven saw it all. This is why your confusion has felt so thick. Because the attack wasn't dramatic, it was invisible. No loud arguments. No betrayal marked by explosions. Just subtle sabotage. The withholding of encouragement. The soft tone of unbelief in their voice. The way they twisted your joy into warnings. The way they downplayed your progress and magnified your flaws. These were not random acts of human weakness. These were spiritual seeds planted to contain your elevation. Michael wants you to understand this. You are not losing people. You are shedding spiritual weight. And what looked like abandonment was heaven's protection. Because the war around your name is not about friendship. It's about alignment. It's about access. It's about the unseen forces that tried to hold back what God already spoke over your life. Listen carefully. You are not just battling emotions. You are navigating a collision of realms. What you feel in your chest is not just heartbreak. It is the groaning of your purpose pushing past the limits set by people who didn't want you to grow beyond them. This is not petty. This is prophetic conflict. And the reason it hurts so deeply is because the one who holds that withheld truth, that sacred piece of your fate, is someone you trusted with your vulnerability, someone you opened up to, someone you thought would walk the whole path with you. And yet, something shifted. They didn't leave your life, but they left the assignment. They laid down their divine role in your journey, and you've been carrying the weight of that absence without knowing what changed. But Michael says, do not chase after what heaven is cutting away. You are not in a season of explanation. You are in a season of elevation. And those who could not honor your process cannot possess your promise. Let that settle in your spirit. This was never about rejection. This was about redirection. Your spiritual identity is a threat to those who operate in hidden jealousy. And the conflict you're feeling is heaven's announcement that your calling hath been activated at a new level. Because if you were not chosen, if you were not appointed, you would not be attacked in this way. No one fights a destiny that has no power. No one resists a future that has no weight. The very fact that silence surrounds you, that deception crept close to you, is evidence of your anointing. Now, here's the strategy: stay silent. Do not fight this in the flesh. You are not called to expose them, you are called to outgrow them. Their presence is not your validation. Their affirmation is not your permission. Heaven is validating you now. And what God is about to pour over your life will not require their confirmation. Heaven saw what they did not see. Heaven valued what they ignored. Heaven recorded what they dismissed. So hold your composure. Heaven is still watching. The angels are still standing guard. And while they may have walked out of alignment, you have not. Your heart stayed clean. Your spirit stayed ready. And that is why this storm has come, because your obedience positioned you for what's next. And you will not lose. This conflict is not your defeat. It is your divine pivot. You are stepping into a new level of spiritual awareness, one that will not allow manipulation to pass as loyalty again. And your tears, they were never wasted. Every cry was a call to heaven. Every ache in your chest was a trumpet in the spirit. And now, heaven answers, not with chaos, but with clarity. Your test is becoming your testimony. You will rise from this, not with bitterness, but with divine sight. You will walk through this, not in weakness, but in wisdom. And you will know who is truly for you, not by their words, but by what God reveals. Stay close to the throne. Stay still in your heart. For everything hidden shall be uncovered, and every manipulation shall unravel before your eyes. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1188 is unlocking new spiritual insight now. Hear this now, not as suggestion, not as possibility, but as divine decree. Within the next 72 hours, the pressure around your destiny will begin to intensify. The spiritual tension that has been mounting will no longer remain hidden. Something is coming into view, a moment, a name, a conversation, a revelation. And heaven is warning you before it unfolds. Archangel Michael does not speak without cause. His sword is never drawn without purpose. And when he descends with urgency, it is because something is about to shift in the atmosphere around you. There is movement in the unseen realm. There is divine agitation in the spirit. What has been buried is being stirred. What had been disguised is preparing to surface. You have felt the build-up, a stillness before the storm, the heaviness in your chest, the interruption in your dreams, the sudden emotional sensitivity you can't explain. You are not imagining it. These are pre-birth contractions in the spirit. What has been carried in silence is about to be delivered, and it may not be pretty. It may come through confrontation. It may come through exposure. But it will come, because heaven has declared the time is now. The one who has held that hidden thread, the one whose silence has chained part of your future, will be faced with a moment they can no longer avoid. There will be a slip, a word spoken without intention, a phone call heard in part, a truth delivered indirectly, or a spiritual glitch so divine, so disruptive, that the lie cannot stand any longer. They will be confronted, not by you but by the weight of truth itself. You are not to seek them out. You are not to stir chaos. You are to watch, pray, and be still. Because heaven is about to let the pressure build until it produces the revelation. The one who carries your withheld clarity may soon find themselves unable to contain the truth. The guilt will rise. The tension will break. And what they tried to keep hidden will slip through trembling lips or trembling hands. But be warned. This exposure will test your posture. It will test your patience. It will test your poise. When the moment comes, you must not let your emotions dictate your actions. You must remember, this is a divine operation, not a human drama. You've asked for breakthrough, and this is the gateway. But breakthrough rarely comes in comfort. It often arrives through pressure, friction, and divine discomfort. Michael's message is clear. Heaven is forcing the confrontation, but you must not forfeit your position. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Do not chase after answers. Do not demand confessions. Let the Spirit of truth speak through divine orchestration. Your role is spiritual alignment, not emotional retaliation. Even now, heaven is lining up moments. A text that will come at just the right hour. A message spoken in your presence that was never meant for your ears. A dream that will confirm what your spirit has felt all along. Divine alignment is arranging these threads, and when they converge, you will not have to guess anymore. You will know. And when it comes, it will feel sudden, but it will be sacred. This emotional climax, this surge in pressure, is not chaos. It's spiritual release. The truth has been suffocating in silence, and now, the spiritual wound can no longer hold it. You will see tears. You may feel anger. You may even feel a strange relief. But in all of it, stay grounded in heaven's presence. Do not be reactive. Be reverent. Because the truth that comes forth will not only confirm what you suspected, it will unlock the path you were always meant to walk. Michael says, if you ignore this, you delay your next level. This is not a time to pretend all is well. This is not a season for comfort-based living. This is an appointed hour, a sacred exposure. You asked heaven for a sign, and this is it. You asked for clarity, and now it will come. But heaven warns, if you deny the truth, if you reject what is revealed, if you bury what God brings to light, you will not be ready for what comes next. Because your future depends on this release. This confrontation is not just to satisfy your emotions. It is to break the chains that have held you in silent bondage. Your calling is connected to truth. Your next level is tied to your response. So begin now to prepare your spirit. Fast. Pray. Speak less. Listen more. Do not let offense distract you. This is a holy interruption, and heaven is doing what no man could do. What was done in secret will not remain hidden. What was spoken in corridors will be echoed in open air. And when that moment comes, you will remember this message, and you will know it was foretold by divine lips. Stay alert. Stay holy. Stay unshakable. The heavens have sounded the trumpet. The watchers are moving. The veil is thinning. And your fate, yes, the part held in another's hands, is being retrieved, returned, and realigned. What they tried to delay is about to break forward. Type I am ready in the comments if you receive this message. Lesson code 444 is now surrounding your next 72 hours. Be silent now. Let heaven speak through the storm. This is not the hour to rush. This is not the moment to push, confront, or react. This is the sacred hour of stillness, when the winds shift not because of man's strength, but because of heaven's weight. There is power in your quiet. There is strength in your silence. When you remove your voice from the noise, you make space for God's voice to thunder. Archangel Michael stands beside you now, wings drawn wide, not to fight with you, but to shield you while heaven completes what it started. You have done enough. You have spoken enough. You have chased enough. Now, the battle moves into divine hands. This next phase is not activated by action. It is activated by alignment. Your stillness is not surrender. It is strategy. Because while your flesh longs to respond, to demand, to clarify, heaven is whispering, stand down. I'm moving. The temptation to speak your side, to prove your purity, to force understanding, resist it. Because what heaven is building for you in silence is far greater than what you could defend with words. This is not a battle you win by fighting, it's a battle you win by trusting. The more you speak, the more you may delay. The more you explain, the more you may entangle yourself in a web heaven is trying to dissolve. Listen to Michael's voice as it echoes in your spirit. The less you speak, the more God reveals. What has been hidden will be uncovered, not through conflict, but through divine orchestration. People will talk. Events will align. Secrets will leave. Truth will surface like oil on water. And when it does, no one will say you forced it. No one will blame you. They will see heaven's fingerprint, not your footprint. Your silence is not weakness. It is divine cooperation. You are not retreating. You are being repositioned for spiritual elevation. And heaven knows how to fight dirty in righteousness. The angels around you are not resting. They are strategically arranging the outcome. Every hour of your stillness allows more angelic movement. Every moment of restraint invites divine intervention. So what should you do while the storm brews? Still your soul. Anchor yourself in the Spirit. Pray without panic. Listen without paranoia. Worry without worry. This is where the real war is won, not with hands raised in anger, but with hearts bowed in surrender. Turn down the volume of the world. Withdraw from the noise of others. Step out of emotional chatter and into spiritual clarity. For this moment is about consecration, not conversation. You will see it soon, heaven's hand striking softly but deeply. Without spectacle, without chaos, without you lifting a single finger. Because the throne of God does not need theatrics. Justice from the throne does not need noise. It comes with order, it comes with timing, and it comes wrapped in peace that cannot be faked. Michael instructs you to repeat this over your soul. I lack nothing. I am shielded. I am seen. These are not just words. These are declarations that shift realms. They remind your flesh who rules your future. They tell your enemy that the divine seal upon your life has not lifted. And they remind your spirit that you are not waiting in weakness. You are waiting in wisdom. Withdraw not out of fear, but out of reverence. This is not avoidance. This is sacred positioning. You are not escaping conflict. You are rising above it. Because heaven will not allow you to wrestle with what God is removing. The very person holding the thread of your future, their grip is weakening, not because you fought, but because the angels have surrounded the situation. You are being protected in ways you cannot yet see. While you sleep, heaven is rewriting scripts. While you sit in silence, conversations are being overheard by the right ears. While you keep your peace, God is preparing to announce your vindication. Not in the way you would, but in the way that leaves no doubt that it was heaven's work, not yours. Michael speaks gently now. Do not confuse silence with passivity. Do not think the lack of movement means the lack of power. You are in the eye of a divine storm, and all of heaven is aligning the winds to blow in your favor. Every angel assigned to your life is active. Every prayer you prayed is echoing. And the silence you now sit in is pregnant with divine reversal. To breathe deeply. Anchor yourself in the truth. What they thought would go unnoticed has already been exposed in the spirit realm. And what they meant to conceal has already been announced before the throne of God. Now, it's only a matter of time before the spiritual verdict becomes visible to the natural eye. This is a holy hour. Treat it as such. Turn your face upward. Shut out the noise. Close your mouth and open your ears. Because as you grow still, you will begin to feel the vibrations of a shift. You will feel peace where there should be panic. You will feel strength rising from places that used to be broken. You will begin to sense that what once frightened you is now afraid of you. This is the hour when heaven silences the mouth of every deceiver. When the truth no longer has to scream to be heard. When vindication walks in robes of grace, not revenge. When God proves that quiet obedience has always been louder than loud rebellion. You are protected. You are covered. And most of all, you are postured for the release of truth. Type I am shielded in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 7777 is active now around your home and heart. You are no longer who they thought you were. The version of you they manipulated, underestimated, and quietly monitored is gone. That former version, the one that stayed silent out of fear, the one that gave people the benefit of the doubt while bleeding in silence, the one that bent just to keep the peace, has been buried. And in its place, a divine warrior now rises. This is not a reinvention. This is not rebellion. This is not pride. This is the awakening of your true identity. Archangel Michael speaks with fire in his voice. You have outgrown the limits they placed around your soul. And that is why the shaking came. That is why the distance widened. That is why the veil lifted. You were never meant to live small. You were never meant to remain subdued. You were never meant to surrender your power to the comfort of being accepted by those who could not see your mantle. And now the truth has confronted you. And with that truth comes something sacred, something fierce, something unmistakably heaven-born. Divine confidence. You are rising now, not because the world gave you permission, but because heaven gave you identity. You were tested, not to break, but to prove the weight of your oil. You were placed in the fire, not to burn, but to be refined like gold. And you passed the test. They mistook your stillness for weakness. They mistook your silence for surrender. But they never realized the truth, that heaven was hiding you while shaping you. That your restraint was not fear, it was discipline. That your humility was not inferiority, it was the mark of royal blood. And now Michael declares, rise, radiant one. Shine with the light they could not dim. Because this is no longer about them. It never really was. This is about who you've become in the shadow of silence. This is about how you found your voice without raising it. How you found your wings without begging for validation. How you grew beyond their reach, even when they thought you were standing still. And now the shift is here, not just around you, but inside you. Feel it. The boldness. The clarity. The divine fire burning in your belly that refuses to let you shrink again. You cannot go back to who you were. Not after what you've seen. Not after what heaven revealed. Not after the way the truth pierced you so cleanly that you could no longer live in denial. You've been transformed, elevated, anointed. You are no longer a shadow walking behind others. You are a light being called forward. This is the moment you claim your space. Spiritually, emotionally, vocationally. You stop explaining your presence and start owning your purpose. You stop apologizing for your discernment and start trusting your divine instincts. Because the same spirit that whispered warnings to your soul is now shouting in celebration over your victory. They thought they were silencing you, but heaven was setting the stage. And now the time has come to stop surviving and start reigning. Not with arrogance, but with kingdom assurance. You've been through the fire. You walked through the valley. You've cried the prayers that only heaven understood. And now, you rise with wings of iron and fire. You've been planted, not buried. And now the growth they tried to hinder is bursting forth from every part of your life. Your creativity is being restored. Your confidence is being rebuilt. Your favor is multiplying. Your discernment is sharper than ever. And every time you doubted yourself because of the way they withdrew, heaven now replaces that doubt with revelation. They didn't leave because you were weak. They left because you were rising. Archangel Michael affirms it. They saw a victim. But heaven sees a warrior. And that's exactly who you are now. You are not fragile. You are fortified. You are not lost. You are led. You are not delayed. You are being delivered into the fullness of your calling. This is not survival mode anymore. This is dominion. And with that shift comes responsibility. To walk with grace. To forgive without returning. To rise without revenge. To be bold without bitterness. You must release them, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve your freedom. You must let go of the idea that they'll ever fully understand. and accept this truth. You don't need them to. Your rise was never meant to be validated by those who were secretly rooting against you. Heaven has validated you already. You are clothed in glory. You are wrapped in righteousness. You are walking with angels, and the glory cloud now rests on your name. From this day forward, you no longer dim your light for the comfort of those who fear your fire. You rise with unapologetic clarity. You are no longer the version of yourself that bends to remain accepted. You are the version that stands to lead others out of captivity. And everything that once intimidated you will soon bow to the authority of the God within you. So speak like you carry heaven's voice. Walk like you bear divine oil. Move like you are surrounded by glory. Because you are. And no shadow, no silence, no sabotage from yesterday has the power to dim what God has now set ablaze. You were tested. Now you testify. You were hidden. Now you're being heralded. You were quiet. Now heaven declares your name aloud. Type "I have risen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1010 has just activated boldness in your DNA. It was never about the delay. It was never about the betrayal. It was never about the silence of someone close or the strange way they began to pull back when your light started rising. What you thought was sabotage was, in truth, a setup for divine prophecy to unfold. What looked like a derailment was actually redirection by heaven's hand. Archangel Michael now speaks plainly. They were sent to delay you, but they could never destroy you. And the truth changes everything. Because when you see it through spiritual eyes, you begin to understand that every withheld truth, every strange shift in their behavior, every cold shoulder and missed opportunity wasn't random. It was permitted. It was purposeful. It was prophetic. The enemy thought that by using someone close to you, someone with access, someone with your trust, he could entangle you in confusion and weaken your resolve. But instead, it ignited something heaven had hidden in your spirit. It woke up your discernment. It unlocked your anointing. It provoked your divine awareness. Yes, the pain pushed you. Yes, the silence tested you. But it was never for your defeat. It was for your activation. You see, prophecy often arrives disguised as disruption. Destiny often emerges through disappointment. And what you just walked through, what you are still navigating, was never just about emotional turbulence. It was about revealing a layer of you that had been lying dormant beneath the weight of people's expectations. You were never called to live in their comfort zone. You were never meant to be shaped by those who secretly feared your becoming. You were set apart. And now the delay has done its job. Because this is the part they couldn't see coming. The very manipulation they used to stall you has awakened the mantle upon your life. You're no longer dependent on their presence. You're no longer shaped by their perception. You have been reformed, redefined, and realigned with divine timing. And now, as Michael declares, the prophecy hidden inside the pain is rising to the surface. Heaven is moving. Even now, doors that were locked are beginning to swing open. Alignments are being sent your way. People, platforms, resources, and moments that match your true calling, not the version you shrunk to become for their comfort. What was withheld is now being released. What was delayed is now being expedited. What was stolen is now being multiplied. Not because they changed, but because you did. And make no mistake, the shift is irreversible. There's no going back to blindness. No returning to self-doubt. No entertaining relationships that feed on your silence. You have crossed a prophetic threshold, and the veil has been torn in your personal temple. From this point forward, you are moving in the clarity that comes only after divine exposure. And with that clarity comes favor. With that clarity comes promotion. With that clarity comes recompense. Michael speaks this over you now. Heaven has whispered your name forward. Yes, your name. Not the version of you others tried to control, but the real you, the bold, purified, fire-tested, heaven-anchored soul who now stands unshaken. That version is who the prophecy was written for. That version is who the warfare was really targeting. But that version is also who will now walk into divine fulfillment. Your next chapter doesn't begin with a crowd. It begins with clarity. You won't need everyone's approval. You won't need their explanations. You won't need their participation. Because God is rewriting your journey to fit His original intent. The version of the future that was once interfered with by the hands of another is now being restored by the hand of God. And you must be ready. Because what is coming is not just restoration. It is divine compensation. Heaven did not restore you to what was lost. Heaven always upgrades. So expect the better. Expect the greater. Expect favor that doesn't match your past but matches your pain. Expect blessings that come not because of who stayed but because of who you became. And it is coming. Rapidly. Within days. For some of you. Within hours. A door will swing open. A conversation will confirm. A divine appointment will align. And you will know it's from heaven because you won't have to force it. It will match the clarity you now carry. It will flow in the same rhythm as your refined spirit. You won't question it. You'll recognize it. If this message is confirming what your spirit has already been sensing, if it's piercing the places you've kept quiet about, and if you want to help us bring more revelations like this to others, consider giving a super thanks today. Even a one-time gift of $10 goes a long way in supporting this sacred work and helping us reach more souls with divine clarity and prophetic fire. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. If you're ready to walk in spiritual alignment, prophetic insight, and bold heavenly identity, make sure to subscribe to this channel. You'll receive exclusive messages, regular updates, and continued direction from above. Don't miss what heaven reveals next. Because this isn't the end of your story. It's the unveiling of a prophecy that was always written in your name. Type "I receive the prophecy" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1221 has now activated accelerated favor over your life. Now comes the part where everything begins to shift. Not simply around you, but because of you. The hour of observation has passed. The season of silence, though sacred, was never meant to last forever. The pain awakened you. The exposure refined you. The prophecy revealed your path. But none of it means anything if you don't take this moment to rise and declare, with every ounce of authority in your spirit, yes, I accept the call. I step into what heaven has assigned. I choose my destiny. Archangel Michael stands now with sword unsheathed, fire in his eyes, and a mantle in his hands. He declares it boldly over you. Fate does not follow intention. Fate follows obedience. Heaven does not respond to emotions. It does not move by wish or by worry. It responds to alignment. It responds to faith in action. And right now, this moment, this divine intersection, is your call to move from revelation into responsibility. Do not delay. Do not linger in indecision. What has been spoken into your spirit today requires a response. You must answer heaven back with clarity, with courage, with conviction. Because this is not simply about recovering what was lost. This is about becoming who you were born to be. You were never just here to survive this betrayal. You were born to outgrow it, to overcome it, and to activate a future that no deception could deny you. Say it out loud. Even now if you must. I claim my place. I walk free. I say yes to my calling. These are not words for the air. They are activation codes in the spirit realm. When you speak them in faith, angels are loosed. Chains you didn't even know were still clinging to your soul begin to shatter. Paths that were once obstructed begin to clear. The realm around you begins to align with your divine intention. Michael warns, this is not a casual yes. This is a covenant. And those who treat this moment lightly will walk away unchanged. But those who recognize the weight of what's being placed before them, those who see this not as a feel-good message but as a divine appointment, they will never be the same again. And the call is not to comfort. The call is to courage. The next phase of your life will require things you've never done before. It will require obedience without evidence, faith without confirmation, risk without full understanding. But this is how destiny responds. It does not wait for comfort. It responds to clarity. And you now have that clarity. Heaven has made it clear. Your name hath been whispered forward. The interference has been exposed. The delay has been unmasked. The time of shadowy attachments is over. But now, the question becomes, will you move? Will you walk through the gate that's being opened before you? Will you activate what has been handed to you in the Spirit? The destiny on your life was never small. It was never fragile. That's why the opposition was so relentless. That's why people near you became uncomfortable. That's why someone close tried to quietly suppress what they couldn't control. But now the testing season is over. The chains are broken, and the doors are unlocking. You must not hesitate. You must not look back. Say it again. I walk free. Let it resonate in your chest like thunder. Let it wake up every dormant gift, every buried dream, every silence calling. You are no longer a victim of spiritual interference. You are a vessel of divine intention. You are no longer waiting for permission. Heaven already said yes. You are no longer chasing clarity. You are carrying it. And now comes the movement. Not random steps. Not forced action. But purposeful motion in the direction of your anointing. Start writing again. Start building again. Start dreaming again. Start fasting again. Start making room for what God is about to pour into your lap. Because the next level won't wait. It is coming. Fast, fierce, and full of heaven's favor. But it requires your full cooperation. You were not meant to sit in the rubble of revelation. You were meant to build on it. And what you build now, with clean hands and a healed heart, will not crumble like what you built in compromise. This time, the foundation is truth. This time, the support is heaven. This time, the movement will not be stolen. Because you are moving with divine backing. Michael's final word in this moment is this: heaven is not waiting on miracles. It is waiting on your obedience. Miracles are attracted to motion. Breakthrough is drawn to brave decisions. Divine favor follows those who are bold enough to walk into the unknown with only the whisper of God's voice as their map. So rise. Walk forward. Move without fear. Because your yes has been heard. Your decision has unlocked gates. Your boldness has caught heaven's attention. And your obedience has stirred the angels to action. Type ISAYYES in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 999 is now setting your steps in divine alignment. You may feel nothing right now. You may hear no thunder, see no flash, feel no tremor beneath your feet. But let this truth settle deep in your spirit. Something sacred is shifting, and it's happening in the silence. While the world sleeps, while you rest, while you carry on with what looks like ordinary living, heaven is working with holy precision behind the veil. The realm of the spirit is not loud. It does not announce itself with noise, but its movements are seismic. Its effects are eternal. Archangel Michael stands not on the battlefield today, but in the throne room. And in this sacred chamber, divine exchanges are taking place. Reversals, transfers, restorations, reclaims. What was once stolen is being traced back to its origin. What was locked away in another's hand is being released without confrontation. You don't have to see it to believe it, because your spirit knows. It knows. Your soul has been feeling the tremors of heaven's activity all along. Michael declares, the silent cries of your spirit have summoned a holy response. Yes, those cries, the ones no one else heard, the ones you offered in the dark when no one asked how you were, the ones you whispered through clenched teeth, while you smiled through your pain. Those cries were not forgotten, not ignored. They were recorded in heaven's archives and answered with action. And now, in this stillness, heaven is moving with deliberate force to set it all right. Do not be fooled by the quiet. In the quiet, angels are reassigning keys. In the quiet, doors are being unlocked by unseen hands. In the quiet, divine transactions are occurring, ones that remove your name from cycles of delay and plant it firmly in timelines of acceleration. In the quiet, your portion is being restored to you. The very things you thought were lost for good, time, trust, peace, vision, are returning through spiritual corridors not visible to the natural eye. And here's what's most glorious. You don't have to strive for it. You don't have to chase what is being returned to you. The Father has ordained this exchange not as a reward for performance, but as an act of covenantal justice. Because you stayed pure. Because you stayed true. Because you didn't retaliate. Because you waited on the Lord. Because you said, not my way, but yours. And now the exchange begins. While you sleep, your name is being cleared in rooms you don't even know exist. While you rest, people are being moved out of positions that were blocking your assignment. While you stand still, God is pressing His finger upon the hearts of those who withheld what belonged to you, making them restless until they release what they held. It's not because of guilt. It's because of divine intervention. Michael whispers, the deal they made behind your back is being undone. Yes, every secret manipulation, every hidden word, every whisper meant to delay or discredit you. Heaven has reviewed it, and the scales are tipping. The angels have been given orders to reverse the works of darkness and replace them with supernatural justice. You won't need revenge. You won't even need recognition. You'll know this is God's doing, because it will happen so precisely, so peacefully, so profoundly, that only heaven could get the credit. It's already happening. Even now. The discomfort they feel around you. That's conviction. The closed doors that seem final. They are creaking open in the spirit. The opportunities you thought had passed you by, they're being routed back to you. But this time, through hands that honor you, not hide from you. You see, heaven is not just restoring. Heaven is rerouting your future around the interference. And while someone once tried to hold a piece of your fate hostage, that grip has been broken in the spirit. The thread they held hath been burned by divine fire, and now God himself holds the fullness of your scroll. There are things being returned to you that you didn't even know were lost. There were covenants made in silence that you were not part of, but your spirit felt the weight. And now, God is tearing up the contract signed without your permission. What they meant for your limitation is now being turned into your liberation. And you don't have to move a muscle. Your job now is rest. Worship. Listen. Stay aligned. Stay holy. Stay expectant. Because this level of justice is not loud. It is swift. It is invisible. It is final. Your future is being reassembled by divine hands. And not one piece will be missing. Not one blessing will be delayed. Not one word God spoke over you will return void. This is a moment to be in awe. Not because of what you've done, but because of what God is doing without your hands involved. It is the sacred privilege of the chosen, to stand still and watch the King of Glory reverse every hidden assault with unshakable grace. So now, rest in this truth. Heaven is not coming. Heaven is here. The war is not brewing. The war is already turning. And victory is not pending. It is being delivered to your doorstep in silence. Type "I am covered" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1717 has now activated supernatural reversal over every area of loss. And now, the verdict is being executed. The gavel has struck in heaven's court. The balance has been weighed. The watchers, silent for seasons, have stood, and the scales have tipped. What was done in darkness, what was whispered in corners, what was plotted in secret meetings of manipulation, is now turning against them sevenfold. Divine reversal hath been triggered, and no force on earth or in hell can delay its arrival. Archangel Michael does not speak in riddles here. He speaks plainly. The manipulation has backfired. Those who held back the truth, those who tried to suppress your growth, those who tampered with the thread of your fate, are now standing in the backlash of heaven's justice. Not because you wish them harm, not because you sought revenge, but because heaven has a covenant with your calling. This is not personal. It is divine. There are laws in the spirit realm that cannot be broken without consequence. One of those laws is this: what you sow in secrecy, you shall reap in the open. And they sowed manipulation. They sowed delay. They sowed silence laced with sabotage. And now, not by your hands, not by your voice, but by the holy fire of divine recompense, they are reaping a storm they never anticipated. You see, when God is silent, it's never passive. It's strategic. While they believed heaven was ignoring their deceit, angels were documenting every detail. While they thought you were unaware, God was preparing your vindication in full detail. Not a moment of confusion was wasted. Not a day of delay was overlooked. Every pain you endured in silence became evidence in the courtroom of heaven. And now, the judgment hath been passed. The scales are no longer leaning. They've tipped completely in your favor. You are being compensated not just for what you lost, but for what was withheld. The relationships that turned cold, the opportunities that never reached you, the closed doors that should have been opened, they are now being answered with divine acceleration and visible favor. You will not just recover. You will rise restored and multiplied. But here is the glory. Your justice doesn't come with destruction. It comes with protection. You will not need to explain how you were wronged. You will not need to expose the betrayal. God is doing it in a way that preserves your dignity and preserves your peace. Because this is not about embarrassment. This is about exalting what was hidden, your strength, your purpose, your truth. They will see it, yes, but more importantly, you will feel it. You'll feel the shift in the way people speak your name. You'll sense the change in the energy when you walk in the room. You'll watch as those who once ignored your voice begin to seek your wisdom. And you will know it wasn't you who changed the tides. It was God. Michael says this with finality. No weapon formed against you ever prospered. It only looked that way for a while. It looked like silence was winning. It looked like delay had the upper hand. But those were illusions. And now, the illusion breaks. And what you walk into next is solid, appointed, unshakable. Even now, those who withheld truth feel the grip of conviction. Even now, heaven is orchestrating reversals so poetic, only divine intelligence could have written the script. People who were used to hurt you will now bless you, not by their will, but by heaven's design. Positions once denied to you will become offered, not because they changed their mind, but because God changed the structure. Everything is reversing, in divine order, and in perfect justice. So walk carefully now, not in fear, but in reverence. Because you are walking on holy ground. You are stepping into answered prayer wrapped in heavenly justice. Do not gloat. Do not taunt. This is a sacred season, not a prideful one. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting what God showed you, but it does mean choosing freedom over resentment. Let the scales of justice swing freely. Do not put your hand on them. Let heaven complete the reversal in full. Because this is your reward for staying faithful, for staying clean, for staying still when you could have lashed out. You didn't break when they left. You didn't fold when they withdrew. And now, heaven honors that. Not with pity, with power. If this message is confirming what you've endured and preparing you for what's coming, and if you feel led to support this sacred work, we invite you to give a super thanks today. Even a contribution of $5 helps us reach more lives with clarity, boldness, and prophetic revelation straight from the throne of God. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. To stay under heaven's covering and keep receiving timely prophetic warnings, insights, and blessings, subscribe to the channel now. You'll get access to exclusive revelations and be the first to hear heaven's word for your next step. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are surrounded. You are favored. You are covered in irreversible justice. No lie can stand. No scheme can prosper. No delay can return. The fire that touched your life did not consume you. It crowned you. Type "Justice is mine" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1444 is now surrounding your name with supernatural favor. Someone close to you once held a thread of your fate, but not anymore. Heaven has retrieved what was stolen. The silence hath been shattered. The contract, broken in secret, has now been reversed in the spirit. What was entangled is now untied. What was hidden is now revealed. What was delayed is now activated. And what was once in their hands has been transferred back into yours. You don't belong to confusion anymore. You don't belong to waiting rooms and unanswered questions. You belong to clarity. You belong to movement. You belong to the will of the Almighty. The Father who saw you suffering in silence has now spoken, and heaven's voice always carries finality. You are no longer bound by what someone else refused to release. You are free by divine decree. And hear this clearly. It didn't come late. This word didn't arrive after the damage. This word came right on time, because God never moves early or late. He moves at the moment that opens eternity. This message found you on the day it was written for you to hear. June 22nd was never just another page on the calendar. It was circled in heaven before you were born. And on this day, heaven declared, no more delay, no more disguise, no more spiritual sabotage. You are sealed. You are seen. You are chosen. And now, you are released. Released from emotional captivity. Released from the weight of trying to guess who was for you and who was sent against you. Released from the false loyalty that kept you tied to people heaven was trying to remove. You are released from patterns of suppression, cycles of confusion, and the illusion that you needed someone else's permission to rise. You don't need their blessing. You have God's authority. Archangel Michael declares this final charge over you now. Rise. Not with bitterness, but with boldness. Rise. Not with noise, but with knowing. Rise. Not with revenge, but with radiant purpose. Because you are stepping into the season where your identity is louder than your past, and your calling drowns out every lie that once kept you low. And what's coming next? Favor. Swift favor. Confirmations. Holy invitations. Unexpected alignments. All of them rooted in truth, not in manipulation, not in delay, not in dependency. You will no longer have to earn access through silence or beg for clarity through broken vessels. The gates are opening because God is walking you through them himself. Now let the dust settle. Let the peace come. Let the fire inside you speak louder than any apology you never received. You are not just moving forward. You are moving in power. With angelic escorts. With heavenly permission. With clarity and conviction and consecration. You are not who you were when this message began. You have shifted. You have awakened. And now, you are walking fully into your assignment. This is your final affirmation. I am whole. I am chosen. I am free. And I am now moving in full alignment with the will of God over my life. Walk forward. Speak boldly. Love freely. Guard wisely. Build bravely. Because the next chapter is not written in ink, it is written in fire. And that fire now rests on your name. Type now I rise in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2020 is the final seal over your journey, clarity, covering, and confirmation.